What if detachment isn't coldness, but strength? Most people misunderstand emotional detachment. They think it means shutting down, acting like you don't care, faking smiles or burying pain beneath a mask. But the Stoics saw it differently. To them, detachment was not the absence of emotion. It was the mastery of it. Imagine being able to feel heartbreak without letting it destroy your focus. To face betrayal and still choose peace over vengeance. To lose something precious and not fall apart. That is not weakness. That is strength. And that is the Stoic way. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself every morning that his peace did not depend on other people. His clarity did not come from external chaos. His power was internal. And it began with detachment. Not because he lacked emotion, but because he refused to be owned by it. Epictetus taught that what truly belongs to you cannot be taken. Your thoughts, your judgments, your choices, these are yours. The rest is on loan. When you understand this, you begin to see emotional detachment not as a retreat from life, but as a deeper engagement with it. You stop clinging. You stop chasing. You start observing. You become grounded, present, clear. This video will show you the ancient Stoic secrets to mastering detachment. Not so you can feel less, but so you can feel everything and still remain free. Because the goal is not to be numb. The goal is to be unshakable. Let us begin. Practice number 1. Stop expecting others to manage your emotions. Most of your suffering does not come from what people do, but from what you expect them to do. You expect them to understand you, to care as much as you do, to respond like you would. And when they don't, you break. The Stoics taught that this is where chaos begins. The moment you hand your peace over to someone else, you become their puppet. Marcus Aurelius warned himself to expect ignorance, betrayal, vanity, and selfishness from others. Not to become cynical, but to become prepared. When you no longer demand emotional fairness from the world, you begin to reclaim your power. You stop trying to control how others treat you and start focusing on how you respond. You stop chasing validation. You start guarding your energy. The truth is, no one is coming to soothe your storms. That is your job. Detachment means recognizing that people are unpredictable and choosing calm anyway. It means seeing their flaws and remaining unmoved. Not because you are cold, but because you are clear. You know what belongs to you and what doesn't. Their actions, their moods, their judgments. Not yours. Your reactions, your clarity, your discipline. All yours. So hold the line. When someone tries to drag you into their drama, do not join the dance. Observe. Breathe. Choose stillness. Let the world spin. You remain grounded. You remain yours. Practice number 2. Treat your emotions like passing clouds, not commands. The Stoics never denied emotion. They studied it. They observed it. And most importantly, they refused to obey it. Epictetus taught that just because a thought or emotion appears, does not mean you must act on it. You feel anger rise? Let it rise. But don't move. You feel jealousy creep in? Let it speak. But don't answer. Emotional detachment is not numbness. It is awareness without slavery. You are not your feelings. You are the observer of them. A man who reacts blindly is not free. But a man who notices the fire and chooses not to throw fuel on it, that man is free. Imagine your mind as the sky, and emotions as weather. A storm may come, but it will go. Do not panic. Do not build a home in the rain. Watch it pass. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily that his mind was sovereign. That even when fear or shame visited him, he could remain untouched. Because thoughts are not facts. Feelings are not laws. They are data, signals, and nothing more. When you begin to see them clearly, you stop fighting them. You stop fearing them. You start learning from them. That's what emotional detachment really is. Not pushing things away, but seeing them for what they are. A wave. A shadow. A spark. You cannot control what enters your mind, but you can always control what stays. So when emotion knocks, listen. But never let it lead. Practice number 3. Know what belongs to you and what doesn't. The Stoics were clear about one thing. There are things you control and things you do not. That line must never blur. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself of this in every entry of his journal. Not out of weakness but to anchor his strength. What people think of you is not yours. What they say behind your back is not yours. Even how they interpret your silence is not yours. You do not control their minds. You do not control their fears or projections. Most of your emotional turmoil comes from forgetting this simple law. You take ownership of what was never meant to be carried. You try to fix people. You try to be understood. You try to win approval from those who cannot even understand themselves. And in doing that, you lose yourself. The truth is you own very little. Your thoughts. Your actions. Your principles. That is your kingdom. Everything else is outside your fortress. When you stop defending what you never owned, peace returns. When you no longer chase explanations, apologies, or validation, you return to yourself. This is not apathy. This is clarity. When something shakes you, ask yourself, is this mine to fix or theirs to carry? If it is not yours, walk away. Walk back to your stillness. Let the world burn in its noise. You are not required to carry every flame. Just the one that lights your path. Practice number 4. Emotion is a visitor, not a king. Marcus Aurelius trained himself to watch emotions, not become them. When anger visited him, he paused. When sadness whispered, he listened. But he never let them sit on the throne. That is the Stoic way. You are not what you feel. You are the watcher behind the feeling. If someone insults you and your blood rises, that is not weakness. That is a signal. A message from within. But it is not an order. You do not have to act on every emotion that arrives. You do not have to speak just because you are angry. You do not have to defend yourself just because you are afraid. The ancient Stoics saw emotion like weather. It changes. It passes. And your job is not to stop the storm but to remain steady in it. Let it rain. Let it thunder. But hold your ground. You do not fight fire with more fire. You control the flame by not feeding it. When you feel overwhelmed, breathe. When you feel hurt, observe. When you feel tempted to react, remember that silence is a weapon too. The man who cannot control his emotions is a slave. The man who sees them clearly, who lets them come and go like wind over water, is free. The moment you pause before reacting, you reclaim your power. The moment you recognize your emotion but do not serve it, you rise above it. Be the master of your inner world. Let no emotion steal your reason. That is how you rule from within. Practice number 5. Say less than you feel and do more than you say. The Stoics did not believe in loud lives. They believed in quiet strength. Marcus Aurelius ruled the most powerful empire on earth, but he wrote his deepest truths in private, never for fame or applause. He knew that the loudest man in the room is often the weakest. You do not need to broadcast your pain. You do not need to explain your silence. You do not need to prove your value. Let your calm be louder than their chaos. Let your discipline be your language. When you feel the urge to complain, observe it. Then let it pass. When you want to be understood, remind yourself that you were not born to be explained, but to live by principle. Speak only when it improves the silence. Act in a way that makes your words unnecessary. Say less when you're hurt. Say less when you're judged. Say less when you're angry. Because in your restraint lies your strength. Emotional detachment does not mean apathy. It means the wisdom to pause, the courage to hold back, and the patience to wait for clarity. You become powerful the moment you realize that you do not need to be seen, heard, or praised to be at peace. Speak when it is kind. Speak when it is true. Speak when it serves. But never let your emotions force you into noise. Speak with your presence. Speak with your actions. Speak with your silence. That is how the Stoic speaks. That is how the wise live. Practice number 6. Let the storm pass before you speak. Emotional detachment is not about freezing your feelings, it is about not letting the storm inside you dictate your next move. Marcus Aurelius taught himself to pause, not react, and wait until the emotion passed. When you feel insulted, hurt, or misunderstood, do not reply immediately. Let the fire cool. Let the wave settle. You will see the situation differently with a calm mind. Most regrets come from things said in haste, not silence. The Stoics believed in observing the first reaction but acting on the second. Let others lose control, raise their voice, or lash out. You stay still. You stay composed. This is not weakness. This is power in disguise. You are not your anger. You are not your sadness. You are the one watching it all unfold. And when you train yourself to wait, you train yourself to win. Practice number 7. Create distance between stimulus and response. One of the deepest Stoic secrets is the space between what happens to you and how you respond to it. That tiny space is where your power lives. Emotional detachment begins the moment you stop reacting like a machine and start choosing like a master. When someone disrespects you, criticizes you, or tries to provoke you, you don't have to absorb it. You don't have to mirror it. You pause. You breathe. And you remember, you are not obligated to react. Epictetus said it best, it's not things that disturb us, but our judgments about them. That means the story you tell yourself matters more than the thing itself. Is it an attack? Or is it a test? Is it betrayal? Or is it a lesson? You decide. By creating mental space, you detach your identity from the moment. You see clearer. You suffer less. You protect your inner world from the noise outside. And over time, this habit becomes your armor. You stop being tossed around by every word, every stare, every outcome. Because between stimulus and response, you built a fortress of calm. Practice number 8. Train your mind to expect nothing and accept everything. Emotional detachment is not coldness. It is clarity. And clarity begins when you stop expecting the world to treat you a certain way. The Stoics believed that suffering often comes not from events themselves, but from broken expectations. You expected loyalty, and they betrayed you. You expected praise, and they ignored you. You expected life to be fair, and it wasn't. But if you had expected nothing and prepared your mind for anything, the blow would have been softer. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the things which happen to us are natural and necessary, part of the order of the world. You cannot control that order, but you can control how you meet it. So the Stoic trains himself daily to lower his expectations, not out of pessimism, but out of power. He says to himself, "Today I may be insulted, delayed, disappointed, misunderstood. And if it happens, I will not be shaken. Because I saw it coming. And if it doesn't, I'll be grateful. Either way, I stay free. You rise above emotional chaos by not making comfort your goal. You make strength your goal. And that strength grows when you release your grip on how things should be and embrace what is. You were not born to be ruled by every emotion. You were born to master them. What you have just learned is not just ancient philosophy. It is survival for the modern soul. The Stoics did not run from feelings. They faced them, studied them, transcended them. And now, so can you. Emotional detachment is not about becoming cold. It is about staying calm when the world burns around you. It is not about shutting down. It is about rising above. From Marcus Aurelius to Epictetus, every great Stoic built an inner fortress. You now hold the blueprint. So when someone tries to provoke you, smile. When chaos erupts, stay rooted. When emotions surge, breathe like a warrior. This is how the few gain power in a world ruled by reaction. You are no longer a prisoner of your feelings. You are the master of your mind. So train it. Guard it. Let it. And when the world asks why you seem so calm, tell them one thing. You learned how to let go. If this message stirred something in you, do one small thing to help this movement grow. Subscribe to Stoic Legacy. Leave a comment with your favorite principle. And share this with someone who needs to break free from emotional chains. The war is not out there. The war is inside. Win it. Stay stoic and build your Stoic legacy.